So first we just want to enter each of the functions, the original function, first derivative, and second derivative into our graphing utility. So from here we're going to graph and play with the window so we can get a good picture of each of these graphs. So if you just hit graph, it's usually like on a 10 by 10, but we don't really see what we need to. We're kind of trying to figure out when these graphs cross this x-axis. So we're going to have to do some playing around here. You can see that not much is happening, I guess, to the left of -1. So we're between -1 and -2 here on the left side, and then not much to the right of +2. So when we change the x scale, I'm going to stay pretty close to that. So I'm probably going to go from -3 to +3 and just see what happens there. So -3 to +3 is the maximum, and let's see what changes. So we kind of zoomed in here. For some reason this computer graphing utility just takes much longer than the handheld calculator. So I kind of want to adjust the Y scale too. So it looks like we're going much higher than 10 and lower than -10. So kind of just play around here. Um, I don't know, let's see. Let's go down to -50, and we'll take the other one up to, I don't know, 100. But since we're changing those numbers, quite a distance away from each other, sometimes you want to change the scale. Let's see what happens if we count by tens on that. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You kind of just play around until you get a nice picture. So you can kind of see um, now where we're crossing this x-axis, or where the zeros of the function occur. Since we want to find the critical numbers, we're trying to figure out the zeros of the first derivative. So I'm going to go back in this graph And I'm going to turn off the original function, the second derivative, so we can just have that one graph isolated. So this first one is the original function. So if you see this equal sign that's highlighted, if you go there and press enter, it will unhighlight it, so it won't graph that. And then I'm going to turn off the second derivative too. So all we have is the first derivative that's going to be graphed. So you can see we have 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So to find the zeros using this graphing utility, we just press the second and calc. It's the second function of trace. And then here, second option 2 will help you find a 0. So I like to start with the leftmost 0 here. So I go here, it's asking us a question here. So we get close to that 0 and we want to pick the value to the left of it. So we scroll using the arrow. You see the X moving along the graph. So we're to the left of that 0. So you press enter, then it's going to ask you for the right boundary. So then you go on the right side of the 0. So now we're on the right side of it. You press enter again. It's going to ask you, you want to make a guess between those two values. And the problem said round to 2 decimal places, so that 0 would be negative 1.50 for the first one. So then we just do the same thing for the next one. So second calc, and choose 0. But now we want this 0 here, so we're going to have to pick a point slightly to the left and then one slightly to the right. You scroll the cursor over. So that's to the left of it. And then pick one to the right of the 0. It's going to say guess. You press enter one more time. And to 2 decimal places, that would be 0.04. And then we have to do this 2 more times for this 0 and this 0. So second calc, second option for 0. So to the left of that, that's good. And then to the right. Guess, and that would be 2.62. And then finally, the last one. This last 0 is right here, so we are already to the left of it, so we press enter, and we go to the right of it, ask it to guess, and 2.84. So those are the 4 zeros, or the critical numbers for this function.